Hey,
I'm Alicia,
and I'm Meredith.
and this is Summer is Fun, a Summer House podcast, season 8, episode 14. There's only one left,
Oh my
so
God,
15 total.
I can't believe we're only getting one out of this breakup.
Okay, my other thing is this is the last weekend. What is going to be next episode?
The breakup and then like the fallout. I'm sure like the girls after after Lindsay finds out are gonna like have a scene
Oh, I
together. Like
guess.
I think it's gonna be how Scandival was, except they
Oh.
knew this from the beginning, where it'll like phase out. Like I think the first 10 minutes will be like the very last weekend, and then we're gonna just jump right into it.
Great. Let's get the breakup already. That's the only reason we're still here.
Yeah.
Before we get into the episode, check us out on the A&M Podcast Network. We have this podcast, which is also a Summer House Martha's Vineyard podcast and a Winter House podcast. We have It's About the Pasta Vanderpump Rules podcast and One Season Wonders. Please be sure to rate, review, subscribe. We do have some reviews
Ooh.
to go through. Great. Let's start with the 2-star one.
Okay. Start from
From
the bottom.
Camardi, and it's titled Nasty to Men, which thank you so much.
When you have men like these, it's not that hard.
I read this one and I was like, I could go off. Okay, we'll get into it. So it says, why are you guys so nasty to men? Not all men are the same, and your constant comments about white men in particular are disgusting. If you don't want to be grouped and judged by your gender/race, then don't do it to others. Speak on the men on the shows and not in generalities. You wonder why you're single.
Wow, there's a lot to unpack there.
So let's just we're nasty to men because we want to be. Thank you so much. We can do what we want.
If I was just nicer to men, they would just be nicer to me, then like that would be a miracle. But me being
not
nice to them won't change anything about myself.
Yeah. Also, white men in particular have a lot of privilege in this world that
the two men that we roast the most are both white. Like they're the two white men
also
that have been on the show.
We can unpack this separately, but if you haven't noticed, all the men on Summer House are white.
Yes.
So that in itself is an issue Bravo needs to like fucking figure out.
So yeah, we can't group them together.
White men. So we see shitty behavior by white men constantly. So
yes.
I'm not going to call out, the Hispanic men and the black men because they're not on this fucking show being idiots.
Yep.
So, this part about being grouped by and judged by your gender and race, listen up, Carmardi. I already am, okay? Yeah. And so is Meredith. We're women, and we get grouped and judged by that. And also, I'm a brown woman.
Yep.
So, listen, if it didn't happen to me, I wouldn't do it to others. But that's the world we live in. And there's no such thing as reverse racism. So if I'm coming at the white men, that's not a thing. They're not offended by that.
I'm not saying they're shitty because they're white. I'm saying they're shitty because of their actions that they show on this show every week.
There's only white men on this show. So if the white men are so enraged, they should call up Carl and Kyle and say, be better representation of us. Okay? And also, I don't wonder why I'm single, because I wouldn't date these shitty-ass white men.
Well, again, that takes the choice out of it for us.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. So, Camardi, neither one of us want to date you at this point, so leave us alone, okay? Thanks.
Jesus,
bye. Anyway, we get to follow that up with 2 5-star reviews, so Camardi's wrong, outnumbered, if you'll say. Okay, so we're going to start with Tracy MSP. And it's titled A Serotonin Boost and Ear Candy Funny Relatable Reality TV Podcast.
I like ear candy.
I do too. I really like that. That's how we should market ourselves.
Yeah.
And then it says, these women are the age of my daughters, but I love. That's the whole thing. Thank you.
We're here to be your friends, no matter our age. We're not ageist over here. We just hate white men.
We don't group people by their and judge them by their race and by their age, race and gender.
That's
fair
the
game.
One thing we don't touch.
Yeah. And then the last one is from Madeline Rose, titled Love, and says, just recently found this pod after loving Summer House for years. I've been enjoying going back and hearing your takes on each episode so much. Thanks for sharing. Always a good laugh. Look at
Thanks for
that. No one else is
joining.
fucking bitching. You know what? The men are out and about because we got something about being mean to men on Vanderpump, something about being mean to men here. How
That's the
come no
thing.
one's sticking up for the women we're mean to, you know?
We love male rage. We hate like female rage.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. So, listen, if you think we're too harsh on men, you should probably either get thicker skin or stop listening. Those are your two
That's yeah.
options. Thank you so much.
Just like
Okay.
over on was that review on Vanderpump, Norris. You don't have to stay. Like
No,
you don't have to
we'd
feel so
prefer it if you
obligated to
didn't.
us.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine. So, going on with our lives, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Vanderpasta and join our Patreon, patreon.com/Vanderpasta. Let me tell you what you can get. For $1 a month, you get access to all of our fun pre-shows where Meredith and I and sometimes Sarah talk about whatever the hell we want. Also, you get access to any episodes we record early. For $2 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, when we go back and we watch old seasons, we'll do an after show so we can talk about current Bravo news as to not give anything away on the episodes we do. However, this is a live season, so we'll talk about any Bravo news on this podcast. Also, we'll say your name on the podcast. So thank you to Allie, Ashton, Chris, Celia. Oh, nope. Sela. Oh, fuck. Darby, D, Gabriella, Jackie, Jamie, Jennifer, Kirsten, Casey, Kelsey, Kirby, Chrissy, Lady Swamp Witch, Lauren, Lindsay with an I, Lindsay with a Y, Robin, Sammy, Sarah L, Sarah R, Tierney, Tonette, Tracy, Allie, Amber, Anne, Ariane, Emily, Gina, Isabella, Kelly, Lady Nee, Leanne, Lisa, Nina, Taylor, and Tara. Oh
Woohoo!
my
What
gosh,
a
thank you so much.
full roster. You're really putting Alicia through the ringer.
Is half the bit making me watch or read these names? Like, is
I
that half the bit at
Well,
this
yeah,
point?
because without success, there should be pain to go along with her success. It used to just be Jackie.
And that was not painful for me to read, you know? Okay, so and then for $5 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, when we do live seasons, which is now, I'll post in the Patreon and ask for your questions, comments, opinions, concerns. We'll read them on the podcast, and I'll pick a patron of the episode. I obviously didn't do my homework, so I don't know what should I do. I'm gonna just pick. Oh no, I've picked everyone. Go. You know what? It's gonna be. Did I pick this person? It's gonna be Kirby.
Woo!
I think. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. It's Kirby.
No, you
Yeah.
already said it. You can't take it back
Yeah, no,
once you
shout
give it.
out. Shout out Kirby. Thanks so much for joining. Thanks for being $5 and commenting on stuff and great. So, and I did it. I did it off the dome, Kirby. You're top of the head.
Off the dome.
Off the dome. So, great. Should we get into the episode?
Let's do it.
So previously on Summer House, Wes and Sierra aren't on the exact same page, but they're working it out. Jesse is scared because his 5-year checkup is here and he felt something abnormal. Amanda is trying to find her own identity, but Kyle doesn't want her to. Loverboy is tanking. Carl wants a cheerleader and is trying to force Lindsay to break up with him. So,
Oh my God, those
God, I could
all of
fight.
these couples, all these white men.
These white men in relationships suck.
Oh God.
Okay, so we open in New York City on Wednesday. Danielle is at her Dawn party.
Dawn? I think it's like to dawn something, right?
It is. That's what it is. It's Dawn.
Yeah.
So this is her app that she's launching. It's an app to
Mhm.
help you feel comfortable in what you're wearing every single day. It's basically the Clueless Closet
Yeah,
on an
Cher's
app.
Closet, but better.
Yeah. And then Chris, my Latin lover, shows up. He's first. To which we find out I think he's the photographer. Which is
I
so
know.
good
I
for
kept
him.
seeing him bop in and out, and like I was thrilled to see him. I'm happy like he is still so close with Danielle. They obviously have like similar backgrounds and stuff, and so
Yeah.
like I like to see that like the friendship with him and the cast has survived despite him not being like asked back to the show.
I know. I wish we did have him. It was
I know.
nice.
I
He was
like
a great B character. He was
That's the thing.
truly amazing.
Why can't we get him like Andrea, where they like like let him have a moment in
He
an
has a
episode or
weekend.
two. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love. So then Jesse's here. We find out his doctors didn't call him. He had to call his doctors to find out what
God,
was fucking happening.
that's so
Terrifying.
horrible.
But it's fine. It's just a calcium buildup. So he's good.
He's
He's
eating,
cancer
eating his
free.
Wheaties and
He's
drinking his
cancer
milk.
free. And then like the rest of the cast shows up. Wes is here, gives Jesse a big hug for cancer or like beating cancer.
For cancer.
For cancer. Lindsay and Carl are here. Lindsay has been walking on eggshells around Carl.
Oh,
But they
God.
both want to support Danielle, so they both have to be here. And man, is it awkward.
I feel like I'm a child at home with parents who are fighting and you're like, don't like, that's how I feel watching those two at any social
Yeah.
function. I'm like,
Don't anger.
where are you at? Are you guys gonna have an argument? Like, what are we gonna do? Like, I knew this would snowball. I knew this would be a huge deal.
This is terrible. Okay, so then Paige and Craig are here, and Sam from
last
last
season.
year. Yeah. So then we have Wes, Carl, and Jesse talk. Carl tells the boys that him and Lindsay are not in a good spot. Probably because he drove off without Lindsay's shit in the car,
Yeah.
even after she said to wait. And then he slept in the other room. But Carl says he's going to do what's best for him and his career. And I'm like, you still think this is about your career at this point? I'd be pissed if you would take my suitcase. We're fighting for different reasons now.
That's the thing is like, yes, do whatever you want in your career. But that is like, now nothing compared to like what this actually is. Like,
yeah, that's
this
not
is
fight
like you said, it's not about his career. It's about you guys, the lack of communication you guys actually have. And this isn't like a fight over nothing, essentially, which is even stupider.
Yeah. So then Paige and Lindsay talk about how they love sitting, which I love sitting. So
I love sitting. Yeah.
I love sitting and laying. Those are my two favorite things to do. Craig comes over. Lindsay asks if he heard about the astrological reader because they have to figure out where they're going to live, right? And the astrological reader, whatever, said Craig's moving to New York. But it was just that crystal thing that she moved with her hand.
Oh my God. She just like fling back and forth.
So Paige definitely wants Craig to move to New York. And she knows like once they have children, they have to find a permanent place because it's illegal for kids not to go to school. Yeah, and it's a law. But she thinks the place should be New York City or like the surrounding area.
Which, whoa, this is like the first time we've heard her say this.
I have been saying this though. I'm always like, why is it Charleston or New York City?
No, I agree.
Why can't it be a Delaware, a Connecticut, a New
I'm kind of
Jersey?
shocked then she hasn't like said this sooner because she's always like said like, oh yeah, when we have kids, like I'm good to settle down in Charleston because it's more homey. Like this makes me concerned because like like what if they don't make it because of like she finally realizes she really doesn't want to be in Charleston?
Then that's just a way to break up. I mean, that's a very real adult problem.
Yes.
That like I think is especially real now that we have like social media and ways to stay in contact. Like so you can date people coast to coast or like all these crazy things. But the reality is, yes, once you have kids, you really have to figure out a permanent thing.
Yeah.
Like I think for Ariana and her dude Dan, if they want to do bi-coastal with no kids, like
that's a lot easier to navigate.
Yeah, because you don't have to find like a place for them to live permanently. But I think for this situation, like that's a really real thing. And I don't think either one of them should have to cave if they really don't want to. Like if Craig really is like, I don't want to move to Connecticut and Paige is like, I do, then break up. It's not what you both want. But I also am concerned, what if she does move to Charleston and hates it and then gets really depressed and hates her life and isn't happy and then they break
like
up
gets
anyway.
Resentful.
Yeah. So I personally would rather them discuss this now, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Me too. I also wonder if
one of them move and compromise like that.
I wonder if the more time she spends in Charleston, the more she's like, I absolutely do not want to be here.
It's hot. The vibes aren't.
The culture is so different.
The culture, yeah, that's what I was getting at. The culture is not it for a lot of people. The vibes just, it ain't it.
For me, it's like fun vacation, but I could not live there.
No, but honestly, I have said, why do either of them need to stay where they are? Why can't we find a neutral spot?
That's so true. I
Like,
just need them to discuss this more because it always just seems like they're not unwilling to discuss this topic in
well,
like an
Paige isn't
actual
ready
sense.
yet, so she's like, I'm not going to discuss it because I'm not moving right now. She's made that
Yeah,
very clear.
that's true. Like what
So,
works, what is happening now works for now.
yeah, so like, I mean, if it doesn't work, I'm not going to be that heartbroken, but like,
No,
because I think it's for real adult reasons. I don't think it's for something
I,
as dumb as he can't communicate and he wants a cheerleader and that's not her. That
and you
is
know
just
what?
little.
I feel like if they break up, they're like both, it won't be a blind side. Like they
It won't.
will actually have discussed it all and tried everything. It'll not be this Carl and Lindsay
Yeah, they will have discussed it all,
nothingness. Yeah.
tried everything. It may just end in disappointment, but
Mm-hmm. That's life.
you know what? Fine. So then we cut to Gabby talking to Jesse and Wes. They talk about the horseback riding date that Wes took Sierra on.
Mm-hmm.
Wes likes the pace him and Sierra are going at, but he is afraid to commit.
The
Um,
pace, there is no pace. This reminds me
we're at a
of Carl
standstill.
and Paige that summer that they hooked up, where like Paige kept asking for more and Carl was doing nothing. And so Paige was like, fine, then like we are nothing.
Yeah, a little bit. You're right.
Wes is doing
So,
more than Carl. Like I will give him
yes.
credit where credit's due. Like he's planning dates, he's hanging out with her. Like,
Yeah.
but what pace are we at? This is slow as molasses.
I just think it's because neither one of them have said like their actual feelings or what they want from the other person in the future.
Yeah.
Like it's
And with
always
so much
like,
of their time on camera, like I think the camera thing is why like Sierra's not sleeping
yeah,
with Wes at the house at least. And so
I wish there was more of like a I really like you and I want you to be my boyfriend, girlfriend, and then let me
mhm.
know if that's you want. Instead, it's like, yeah, I'll eventually take you home to Missouri with me. And it's like, the what? You
Yeah.
know? It's very
He's like,
different.
I'm not
But
ready to be exclusive, but you can definitely come with me to Missouri for Thanksgiving.
to be honest, I'm over this. Like but we've all been there too, so I can
I
relate to it more.
know. Yeah, that's
Anyway,
true.
so Danielle does a speech for her Don app and I don't want to get it wrong and
I know.
she dedicates the night to her mom and then it's time to party, but we instead cut to Friday at 3:14 p.m. when we go to the Hamptons.
Mhm.
Kyle and Amanda drive down together. Uh, Kyle's parents' pool ruined Amanda's earrings because they were swimming there for his dad's 80th, and he looks great for 80. Kyle's dad,
1,000%.
I'm gonna be in a fucking wheelchair when I'm 80. My body will
Oh,
hurt
same.
constantly.
It also reminded me how old Kyle is because I'm like, his dad's 80. And in my mind, I'm like, Kyle always gives off like 25-year-old energy. And then I'm
Kyle's
like,
over 40.
yeah, yep.
Yeah. And his parents waited like a long time to have him.
Yeah.
Like, quote, not long time, but like what is the
It's not like
median
they
age? They're over
rushed
the median
into.
age.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So like I think his parents had him around like late 30s, early 40s. So like checks out.
Which then like tracks for him. Like you tend to do
Yes.
things the way you saw them. So like him, if he has a kid at like 45, like that's not that weird.
Yep. So fine. Um, Amanda and Kyle are very different. They're still figuring out this whole work thing. Amanda says she thought when you started a business you would sell it. She doesn't know why Loverboy is still here.
I was like, holy shit, it's been 5 years. And I understand that because a lot of entrepreneurs, that's what they do. Like,
Yeah.
the person who creates a company cannot always take it to the next level. Like, and Amanda's like, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Let's do the next
Bye.
thing.
So then we cut to Lindsay and Carl driving down. Awkward.
This is when I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm a child in a about to get divorced like family.
It's very awkward. Lindsay basically just asked, like, hey, what's the future of you at Loverboy? Have you discussed it?
Mm-hmm.
And Carl was like, it's fine. I'll discuss it. And I was like, oh, okay. So, whatever. We go to the house. Gabby and Danielle are first to arrive, then Kyle and Amanda, then Carl, Lindsay, then Paige, Sierra, Jesse, and Wes. I just would like to say the pair I didn't know I wanted, but I need now is Jesse and Amanda. I think they're the sweetest
It
little
Amanda
pair.
always is really good with like the guys, like
Well,
as like
she's
a
good at
friend
just
level.
making like a cute connection. Like she was like,
Hmm.
big hug for you being cancer free. I'm so happy. She's like, you did it.
Yeah.
Also, Jesse just posted a picture with Loverboy. I don't know if you saw this, and goes,
No.
I love Amanda's designs, or like, I love Amanda's packaging. And everyone was cracking up and was like,
My
what a
gosh.
friendship, you know?
That's what I want. I want Jesse to give Amanda all the Loverboy credit just through
Yeah,
his Instagram. Like,
that's what he's
great job on
doing.
creating Lemoncello years later, obviously.
Yeah, yeah, just the bit lasts forever.
Yeah.
Okay, so Craig finally has left Paige after a whole week. She's like, look, he wants me so bad. It's not my personality. She goes, I don't need a man, but I'll try and show him love, which is fair.
She
Craig
cracks
also
me
knows who Paige
up.
is at this point. You
I
know, like,
know, I know. But I like her, like, like, this is compromise. Like, he needs to understand who she is, and then she, like, needs to try and give him what he wants and needs a little bit, too. Like, she's not going to change herself, but, like, it's like, I know Carl's asking for a lot of things that Lindsay is not, and he should not be asking for like those types of things. But like asking for your partner to like hug you every once in a while is not a wild request. And so I feel like Paige
yes.
is learning how to like interact with
She took him
Craig
on a
more and
picnic.
more.
That was a
Yeah,
lot for her. Yeah. So, Paige basically says, we have dinner. Here's my car outfit. Everyone soak it in before I go change. Everyone goes to
I
change. We
love
find
this.
out,
Here's it with sunglasses. Here's it
yeah,
without.
we find out that the dinner they're going to is a surprise dinner for Jesse. So we go to dinner. Everyone pulls up in the cars. Everyone's going inside, but Lindsay's like, hey, Jesse, can you retie my dress really quick? Because everyone else wants to make sure everything's set up and like get ready
Yeah,
for the surprise of it all. And then she walks in with Jesse, which was very nice. She's
Lindsay's
slick, you
good.
know? She's
Lindsay's
slick.
very strategic with stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like she's got it. She knows how to do
Yeah. She was like, me and Carl are in a fight. Jesse's going to tie my
it.
dress.
Yeah.
Okay, so he walks in, surprise. It was so cute. It was so sweet. I was tearing up a little bit. And Jesse's like, no one has ever thrown me a surprise party, but like I'm so lucky to have these people. It was
This is
very
so
cute.
cute.
It was
Also,
so cute.
really quick, not cuteness. Was this restaurant closed and did they have people staged in other booths?
I who were those people and why didn't they turn around during the song?
I
I
feel
would have
like
stared.
I feel like they were staged. Like they were crew members just sitting there because there were only two other tables.
Yes.
And they
But
did
like
not, never did they ever like react to anything going on at our
no,
summer house
that's the
table.
wildest part. If it was us, I would stare the whole time.
Or
I'd be
like
like,
you
what
would
are
like
they?
whisper and be like what's happening? Like
Well,
if your back's to them.
once they're singing at top notch, my back is fully turned towards them, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
You
no,
know?
even like giggles or laughing that like this is weird.
No, these four other people were so engrossed in their conversations. They didn't
Yeah.
notice any of the chaos happening. I wondered the same thing. I went, who are these people and how much
Okay.
are they
I'm glad we were
making?
on the same page because I clocked it immediately because I was like, wow, I would
Yeah.
love to be at this. And then I was like, wait, this place
Well,
is dead.
Okay, so Jesse does a speech and then he wrote a song. What
Mm-hmm.
would Jesse Solomon do? Which is a
Love.
very fun song. I forgot he even sings. He puts everyone into the
Mm-hmm.
song. I then literally stopped paying attention to the song and was like, these people aren't showing any reaction,
I know. I just was
not
watching
even
the background
smiles. I don't
characters.
even think they were talking about anything.
No.
And
That's
it
why I think
was,
they were staged because they didn't even like chuckle at what was going on.
they were all in like black or dark colors too. And it was such a long song. There's no
Yes.
way I'm not waiting for them to fucking shut up, you know?
No.
Like this was cute, but if these really were patrons, A, what's wrong with you? And B, stop singing this stupid song.
If they're real patrons, I'm actually more concerned.
Yes, I listen, me daggers at them going, what is this?
Are you okay?
Are you guys good? How long is this song? Because I'm trying to tell my friend some gossip. What are you guys?
I
Singing
also
about.
love like Wes like recorded it. You know, I actually love when they put in cell phone footage. It just feels more
Yeah.
natural and like fun and like you're actually a part of it and like they're friends.
And then Amanda was recording Wes, recording Jesse, which was so
So cute.
cute.
So cute.
Oh, it's cute. Okay, so after the dinner, it's now Saturday, 12:52 a.m. We make it home. Kyle can't make it inside. He's so close, but he's
Oh my
outside. Um, there's cheese on Paige's floor, which would love to
God.
know the
Weird.
backstory of that. Carl and Lindsay make out, so I think they're friends again. Um,
I don't understand those two.
Kyle drunk eats in the kitchen alone, per usual.
Classic.
Just came from dinner, can't stop, won't stop. Wes goes to Sierra's room, and then Kyle has the hiccups, wakes up Amanda. This man cannot let her sleep. He
I I
not a
can't with
once,
him.
not a
Like,
once.
come. This it's not the hour truly that you come home at. It is that you have like you need her attention so bad.
Like you can't even just
Like, let her be. Get
let
in the
her
bed
live
quietly. Like, try and just go to bed. But he can't because he needs to be the center of attention and like have the spotlight on him at all times.
all times. So it's now 9:06 a.m. The house is starting to wake up. Um, the boys, Kyle, Jesse, and Wes have some bedtime, which is very cute. And then the
Very cute.
girls, Sierra, Paige, and Amanda, also have bedtime. So we switch back and forth
Mm-hmm.
from boys and girls' bedtime. So in the boys' bedtime, Wes, it's gonna be weird. He has a job now, so he can't just go on random horseback riding dates on Tuesday afternoon.
That's so
Um,
funny.
he also says he tried to define the relationship, but he didn't
Oh
do a
my
very good
God.
job at it.
No.
No. And then in girls' bedtime, Sierra talks about how the date was good. There was like a semi serious conversation at the end. And like Sierra obviously isn't happy that Wes is texting other girls, but she's
Mm-hmm.
not ready to fully let him in yet. And also, he's just a big jokester, so she doesn't know if he's serious or not most of the time,
That's a
which
thing,
is the
like,
problem with dating a Wes. I will
I
say I'm so
know.
attracted to them, but there's the problem.
But I'm also semi like a Wes, where like everything's a joke to me that like I wouldn't even be able to like take myself seriously.
Yeah, but like it makes it difficult
Just you
when
can't
you
like
want
I
something.
yeah, you like can't have a serious conversation
No.
because we make jokes because we don't want to have a serious conversation.
I'm always sarcastic. So I'm not even
Mm-hmm.
joking. I'm just like I'm like, "Oh, you want to be my boyfriend?" Okay. And I'm like, "Oh no, what have I done?"
Yeah, that's the thing. Then I like make jokes to get out of it. Like
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like I drop a
it's
little truth and then I'm like, oh, never mind, never mind, never
never mind.
mind.
So then Paige tells Sierra either she's gonna like she's at the point now where Sierra's either gonna put a wall up or fall really hard.
Yeah, that's
And
a scary point where you're right at that fork in the road
I
and you're like,
know.
this could either be actually something serious or like I'm going to be heartbroken.
Yeah. So I guess Wes also says like love you and meet the parents and he's very casual. So Sierra's like, are you joking or not?
Yeah,
And then they're all like giggling, laughing about like joking. And then they start laughing about how like, but Sierra is the biggest joke. And then they're like, oh no,
come
it's
Sunday, this is the
sad.
last weekend. Like, is he going to be like, just kidding? This was all a joke this entire summer?
Yeah, and Sierra gets a little emotional where she's like, I don't know what, but it's like awkwardly funny because they're all
It's,
cracking up and they're all crying about
but
it
it's like,
too.
you're like, this is true, but like, this is a good joke, but this is like kind of has too
Yeah,
much truth in it that
it's a
I'm like
good joke, but a
nervous.
bad joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll just have to wait and see. So the rest of the house, Carl comes back with bagels for everyone. It's the final weekend. We need to send it.
Hmm.
Wes is putting on a doomsday party,
I
and
like
this
this.
is
This is
great.
creative.
He's so excited because all of his friends, or he has like friends from Missouri coming to this party. He put his back into this party. His neck, his back, his pussy, and his crack are in this party.
Jesus.
I say that all the time, and one day I'm
Do
gonna get
you?
arrested. Well,
Oh
I'll just be
God.
like like my back hurts, and I'll be like my neck, my back, my pussy, and my crack, and people are like, no.
Oh God.
Okay, so it's time to decorate, and I would just like to say I love how like no matter how big or rich they are, they always have to decorate these parties like by
I thought the
themselves.
same thing with
It's my
Paige being
favorite.
like, God damn it, what are we doing right now?
Yeah, she's like, why are we making like a baby part
Like
necklace or like,
necklace.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
like
what is
garland.
happening? Yeah. But like
It's
then you have
also,
them outside like spray painting and they're like, let's put it here and they're lifting up like boards
and they're like,
of
wait, this
wood.
looks so good. Like,
Yeah. But
I like
like
how
they
Wes, his theme is like, oh, like we'll just like spray paint a bunch of shit. That's such a boy thing to be like, oh, it'll just be so easy. We just throw some things up. And it's like, well, we got to make this look good. So then it just becomes more and more work, even though the idea, like, is so simple. You got to
no,
blow it out of the water
it's
always.
great. Like Gabby's on a ladder trying to
Yeah.
hang stuff up and she's like, how does it look? And someone's telling like I literally if someone goes decorate for a party, I would go, you need to tell me exactly what to do. I wouldn't even know where to
Yeah.
start.
I
But
would I
these
would be like, okay, let's find a wall for a happy birthday banner and like that's about it.
yeah, but these people, they know.
I
No matter
agree.
how big they get, they have to decorate.
And when they were hanging all the like wood shit, they were like, I don't think we're getting our security deposit back. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
my God, I like how we're that committed to it. Like, fuck the security
to the
deposit.
bit, like they're actually
Yeah,
paying for this
I
house.
know.
And
Bravo's not
like
getting their
Bravo hasn't just
security
rented it. Yeah,
deposit.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they had to pay Bravo to be like, here's our security. No,
Yeah.
fuck off. The bit. That's like when it's Sir, all the people were like, we're still waiters and waitresses. And we're like, no, you're not.
They're like, can I get my
Just stop.
tips? I'm like, oh, are you actually making money
Just
from this
stop.
job right here?
Yeah. So, um, Kyle and Carl talk super quick. In the like, I don't
The
know,
bar.
the bar area, the Send It.
Mm-hmm.
Club Send It.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it is.
Club send it. You're right.
So, Kyle really wants to try for a non-alcoholic beverage line at
Mm-hmm.
Loverboy. Carl feels like that's really a good idea because that would be like an extension of him with the
Mm-hmm.
company. And it's very like as they're talking about this, Lindsay's just like walking down the stairs, but she doesn't
Yeah.
interrupt. She just grabs her
Which
shit
I'm
and
so
like,
happy she didn't. Like,
yeah. But she
even though
obviously
like
hears them talking.
correct, she like knows to ask about it later.
Yeah.
But like as much as like she has more drive than Carl, like he needs to handle this stuff on his own.
Yeah. So Kyle offers 3K a month as a retainer. Any
Mm-hmm.
event Carl goes to would be another 2K his way. And then 10% of all sales, period. That's all we hear.
Yeah.
10% of all sales. And then he's thinking maybe Carl can start in December, a month before they launch in January, the non alk line. And Kyle just wants to make sure it's an easy sell for Lindsay. But Carl's like, oh, I'm going to do what I want to do. No worries. But Carl really didn't ask any questions or like
No.
counter. And maybe it's just not the time. Fine. But
That's
like,
that's what I can't figure out because like we're not seeing it all obviously. Like how far in like is this still just casual conversations because we're just like at having a weekend and so it's like casual business conversations and do they plan to actually like sit down and like write a contract together? Like that's where I don't know like how mad to be at Carl, I guess,
well, if Carl's
for
gonna,
this.
I think, be like more of a contractor, he needs to give Kyle like an SOW as well
Yeah.
with all of his rates and stuff. My biggest question, even during this, was is this 10% of all sales or just the non-alk line?
Yep. I assumed it was all sales, but then I was like, that's a
I
lot of
assumed it was
money.
just the non-alk line.
Yeah.
So I was also like, 3K as a monthly retainer really isn't that much.
No.
So like that's what, 36K a year?
But
So like,
every event, if he goes to two events a month, like that's four
but
more
what if you
grand.
don't do two events a month,
I
you know?
know.
So
So it's
like,
like it's you got to work out all these details, which takes time and a lot of like emails and like it needs to be more in writing to like
yes,
negotiate this
I
stuff back
think
and
if
forth.
it's
So I don't.
10% of all sales, then fine, 3K. But if it's 10% of the non-alkaline that you need to
Yeah,
like promote, that maybe a lot of people won't drink, then you might need a monthly retainer of more.
correct. Yeah, it's. I feel
So
like you need to like. He needs to gather all. This is more of like I feel like a fact finding to understand maybe what more questions he needs to ask or like decide on what he wants and needs. Like you need initial numbers to go back and like decide what works for your family and like what else you would need and like to negotiate back and forth. And so
yeah.
I'm not shocked that he doesn't have all the information just off of this one conversation. But I wish they would have if Carl and Kyle would have, and maybe they did and this got cut out, but like it would have said, like, yeah, like on Wednesday, let's meet up and we can actually like hammer out the actual details of this contract.
Yes.
Here's what this is a start.
Yes, I would have loved that. And for Carl to be like, let me send you my SOW. And then
Yep,
also, like, we would need to get this in writing for sure and like
correct.
sign. But the biggest thing for me was the sales. I was like, sales of what? We
I,
need that. I need that clarified immediately.
well,
So,
he said including merch, so that's why I thought it was all of Loverboy.
oh, see, but I don't,
I,
it was very unclear.
I know.
So, whatever. So then guess who shows up? Balloon guy Joe. I didn't see any.
Jesus.
Was there balloons at this party? Maybe, maybe not. I didn't pay attention. But
That man is nothing to me.
so then Jesse and Wes talk. Was Jesse surprised last night at his surprise party? Jesse's like, yeah, I was so surprised. I was grateful because they don't usually get parties thrown for me. And Jesse's just so relieved that like
He's
he
just
doesn't have cancer.
he's so wholesome. He's just so happy, like to just be alive and
Yeah.
healthy and have
Yay, no
friends.
cancer. We
I love
love.
Jesse. Like he is
I do
just
too.
normal and like real and like it's just a natural storyline. Like he didn't have to do anything for it. Like it sucks
Yeah.
that this is his storyline, but like the way he just navigates life, I'm just like, you're
It's
so
very
great.
cute. I know. Okay, so they start getting ready, and then Lindsay asked Carl about the meeting with Kyle because
Yeah.
she heard it happen.
And a
Um,
very open-ended, just like how was it? What did you guys talk
yeah.
about?
And Carl says the meeting was positive. It would be like a consultant position. And
Mm-hmm.
she just goes, oh, so you would like outsource your services to Loverboy. And Carl goes, I think that's what I told him. And Lindsay's like,
Did you or did you not
um,
tell him? Like we just had a
okay.
conversation where like you were going to do that.
Well, Lindsay was like, I told you to clarify because, like,
Yeah.
this is your livelihood, my guy, you know, like, what? And so Carl says he would also get equity in the non alc product, but not talk about how much equity. And I was like, that is important.
I think
Because are
the
you still
real
an investor
problem
in love? Yeah, there's just a lot
is that
happening.
Carl doesn't know how to communicate at all. He and Kyle can just loosey goosey have conversations, and so
Yeah.
they feel like they're on the same like conversation pattern because they're both like pretty general in that conversation we saw earlier, which
Yeah.
is fine if that's an initial discussion. That's okay. But when Carl is bringing Lindsay information, he doesn't know how to just like tell her what is up, like what actually happened, and just and defend himself a little bit to be like, hey, I'm gonna have a more conversation to get some of these details that I know are really important to you and like should be important to Carl too. But like
Yeah. Or I'm
he
going to
doesn't know.
counter like
Yeah,
any,
he always
like
like
nothing.
falters, and then that concerns Lindsay to be like, do you actually know what's going on with your own career? Like he's
Well,
not confident in talking to her.
I think also Loverboy is also something that brought him a lot of stress, a lot of
Yeah,
like frustration. And so Lindsay's like, if you're gonna present this to Carl or to Kyle, you need to have a plan because
yeah,
before the plan didn't work out very well and you had to
that's the
remove
thing.
yourself from the situation. Adding on to that I think Kyle and Lindsay are very similar business wise. Like they know what they want. They're going
Hmm.
to do whatever they have to. They're very cutthroat. They're very forward. Where I don't think Carl has the drive or
Yeah,
like the fight within himself,
I
which
agree.
is fine. But then you should prepare better for these kinds of meetings and like talk to Lindsay and be like, what should I ask?
And just like you said, like Kyle and Lindsay are so similar. I think Kyle is wanting Carl to take the lead because again, like with it not going well the first time, I think Kyle wants to make sure Carl like is comfortable, has the deal set up, so it's like in
Yes.
in whatever he needs and wants, like in a rightful manner, but like whatever Carl kind of needs out of this deal and like wants his like life to be structured, like I think Kyle wants to give Carl a good position that works for him. So if Carl isn't like speaking up for himself and like saying what he wants, money and like time and like everything into this, like Kyle can't read your mind, Carl.
No. Yeah, I just think Carl's just not it. You know, he's not the vibe.
He's not it in
So
his conversation with Kyle, and he's not it with his conversation with
no.
Lindsay. Like, grow up here and like own this conversation on both
Be like, you
sides.
know what? I wasn't very direct. We didn't get a lot. You're right. I should go in with more of a thought. I'm gonna take what he said and I'm gonna come back the next time. But
Yeah,
instead he's
like
just like, nothing's in writing.
I really think if he said to Lindsay, like, it was just a casual conversation today, but I'm gonna make sure I like head over to the Loverboy offices on Tuesday, like or like Monday, and we're
And
going to really
discuss in
hammer out the
person.
details so I
Yeah,
can
I'll
like
have
take
time to
notes and
prepare.
yeah, like now
Yeah.
this is giving me a lot to think about so I can actually go and give like the numbers that I want.
Yeah, Lindsay's just like, I'm worried the two of you just aren't being very direct. Which I was like, Kai was kind of direct. He's like, here's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Here it is.
I think
But
yeah, Kyle was pretty direct for this being like early and like negotiating and no
yeah.
paper like exchanged.
Well, Lindsay also is just like, I want to understand how I want to understand the conversation so I know the questions to ask you.
Yeah.
Because you're not really giving me anything. So, like, how.
Anything.
And then Carl goes, this just feels like an interrogation. And Lindsay goes, like, well, like, what do you want me to say then? Like,
Lindsay only
great.
turns it like interrogation style when she starts to like freak out a little because he says, I think I confirmed with that. Like that does not instill confidence in your partner that like you can
No.
handle a serious conversation that affects our family and our finances and everything moving forward. So like I see why she like turns on the interrogation a little bit because like you're not giving her anything.
Well, you're not giving her anything, so she doesn't know what exactly to ask, right?
Yeah.
So if I told you, like, Meredith, I had a day yesterday, you'd be like, what happened in the
Okay.
day? What were you
Yeah.
doing?
Was it
Where
good?
were
Was it
you? Who are
bad?
you with? Like, but if I said I had like a bad day, you could then go, what happened to make it
Yeah,
bad? Like,
that's true.
just a
And
little
like
bit of descriptor.
if Carl brought something to celebrate, I think he would get the reaction he's looking for. Like if he was like, I'm
Yeah.
really excited, like, I'm going to be a consultant, so I won't like, fall back
Yeah.
into the old issues of Loverboy. I really think this will be like a better setup for me because of these few things. Like I still need to talk to Kyle about these extra things we didn't like
Mm-hmm.
finalize, but like I'm really excited about this. I think Lindsay would be like, that's great. Like when's your next conversation going to be? And like
Yeah.
she could give the energy that Carl is looking for, the excitement energy that he constantly asks for.
Yeah, but he's not presenting anything to be
Anything to
excited
be
about.
happy
We
about.
don't even
Yeah.
know what he's talking about.
No,
If we
no.
didn't see the conversation, I kind of
I,
wish that Bravo had cut the conversation with Kyle and Carl and just shown us this Lindsay one first. And we also would have been like, what is he talking about?
yeah,
And then they could have shown the
like
conversation where we would have been like,
flashbacks.
oh, he's
Hmm.
not giving her anything. So
Sometimes I
whatever.
wish reality TV had an option, and like maybe this is like years in the future, where you could watch it, quote unquote, from one person's perspective and like
Oh,
different perspectives because we as the viewer get to see all these conversations that happen
yeah.
that other people don't, that it would be kind of funny to watch a show like a surveillance show like this or like Big
Yeah.
Brother,
Where
like
we
and watch
see
it
what
from
Lindsay
somebody.
heard and then we
Hmm.
get her being like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, Lindsay's like, I'm at a loss because apparently all I do is criticize you. So I'm just trying to understand. And Carl goes, I just want a cheerleader to say, it's great. Like, congrats. So Lindsay looks at him and goes, it's great. Congrats.
Which like
And,
her tone by then is not ever gonna give him what he wants.
but
Like you
I
guys are
also
not
would
in
be
the
like,
place to
don't
like.
call me a cheer. I'm not your
That's a
cheerleader, dude. I'm your
thing.
partner.
True. But like I'm not also I can't now show up and be like cuz you're always going to say it's fake, Like if
Yeah.
now I say like congrats and like even put on that he would
It's
still be
fake.
like wow, you're so
Yeah.
fake.
So
She can't win.
Carl obviously gets upset, and Lindsay's like, if there's nothing in writing, then why are we like, why should I say yay to that? Because nothing's confirmed. You
Yeah.
haven't
You
gotten
haven't
any of
done
the
anything.
details. Yeah. All
You have
you've said
taken
is basically
an
what
inch
he's been
forward.
saying is that I'm
Mhm.
going to consult for Loverboy. I'm going to consult for Loverboy. Boy, I'm
That's it.
still consulting for Loverboy.
You have no new details, no
No,
actual new details. You have like ideas, like oh, I am going to like get paid for like going to the events, but like how much, how many events, like when did the events start? Like you don't actually have any details. So
no.
why is she gonna say congrats because this deal isn't closed?
Literally, this man is so delusional.
I
Whatever.
got like
So,
really upset with him on this. Like I think they just overall don't communicate well with each other. Like I think Lindsay's tone of voice that like just always Carl will say she's like angry at him or like whatever. Like he will
yeah.
always find a problem with how Lindsay communicates with him. And that's where I'm like, you really should not be together. If you can't even have a discussion, you think she's like interrogating you so
I
early
just
on in a
think
conversation.
I think he wants Lindsay to be someone she's not. And
Yeah.
like I think before she didn't have like the girlfriends and stuff. So she was dying for Carl's attention. That was the only
Yeah.
person she could trust. So like whatever he said, she was like, I'm here for it. We got it. It's us against the
Hmm.
world. It's not like that anymore. She's got friends. She's got people to see.
Well,
She's got things she can rely on. So if her and
true.
Carl aren't doing good, she's not going to be crying in a corner alone. She's out and
No.
about talking to the girls and like doing other things. And I think he misses that whole like, it was just us against the world. We were sober together. We were never disagreeing. We were just the
And
two
like I think he
besties.
misses his best friend Lindsay and how he could interact with her, because when it's not her finances on the line and her future, like she can be a little bit more excited about this
Yeah.
non-deal deal. Like if you came to me with this like non-deal, because I don't really, we aren't in the same business. So like
Yeah.
I wouldn't know a lot of the questions to ask, and like I wouldn't ask a lot of those questions just being your friend. Like I would be like, that's so exciting. I'm thrilled for you.
Yeah. But
Like
if my deal is connect or like
to like
affecting you,
yeah.
you'd be like, what does this mean? What are we doing? What's happening here?
Yeah.
Like, I need to know about this. Yeah.
The questions you're going to ask as a friend or a partner are different. And so I think he wants his friend Lindsay, but
Yeah.
that's not who she is to you anymore.
No, sorry. So it's Saturday, 5:49 p.m. It's time for the Doomsday Party. May today's party be enjoyable for all of us. Cheers.
I hope.
So Paige, so funny. She was like standing in the backyard and then she like looks and she's like, oh my God, who's that hot guy? And then she's like, oh my God, it's Jesse Sullivan. And I was like, he is. He looks really hot in the outfit. So I'm
I
with
know, and
her.
him like just one person strutting across the lawn too, like
Looks
immediately kind of
kind
grabs your attention. But of course, it had to be Jessie too, 'cause,
of,
like
she's like,
that just puts
ooh.
a cherry on top of him liking her at the summer
Yeah.
and like that chaos at the beginning. Like, love
Good
it.
for you. Good for
Good
me.
for you.
So Wes is so excited for everyone to meet his besties from home, which are a lot of blonde women that I would never know their names.
Oh my God. I was looking at those people wondering if I knew any of them or like had seen them in Friends of Friends stuff, but I don't. But I was like, "Oh my God, you're like, oh, I can't wait to introduce you to all my friends from home and they're all girls." That's
It's cute, but I'd be like, why?
they were only girls at the beginning.
Yeah. So I'd be
That's
like,
a that's like
I'm
a
hoping what
yellow
it
flag.
is like there's like one or two girls he's close to, and the rest were like the girl gang, right? Like if you're close
Yeah.
with a guy and you bring me to the party, like
And like this being summer house, like girls are probably more excited that he's on
yeah,
like Bravo, and so like they will show up for the party and probably show up on time, whereas like the guys are just gonna like roll in and have fun because they
yeah.
don't really
I
give a
mean,
shit
it
about
was
this
fine.
show. Like if you invited me to a summer house party, like if I knew Wes from home, I would be there prompt. I would be like,
I'm there
I'm
7 hours
ready.
before. I'm
Yeah.
asking if they need help setting up because I'm
Do you?
prepared
Yeah. Can I get ready in one of the
in the
rooms?
house. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so great. We see Wes introducing Sierra to all of his friends. They do really like each other, and Wes wants their lives to be more intertwined. But we have to see if she can watch football for basically 12 hours straight, which I was like, that shouldn't be a deal breaker. But like,
I
okay.
died. Yeah, but like we're so Midwest. Like that's so normal to us. Like I don't know
Well,
if
we could
everybody.
do it. I was like, easy,
Yes.
done. Yeah, I got this. So, Amanda Page and Gabby talk about how Sierra and Wes' first fight is going to be about how Wes is so social that he keeps making
Mm.
Sierra do social shit when she just wants to be in bed. Very funny.
I was
But
like, oh,
Wes,
I never really thought about that because your
yeah,
summer house life is so different. Like you can put it on for summer. A lot of people can. And
yeah,
like to go into fall, like how is that going to work?
yeah, that's fine. So, Lindsay makes herself a drink, lots of vodka.
She's
Um,
having a moment.
she's very upset that her simple communication with Carl is very terrible. She thinks Carl is ready to get married, but she doesn't know if Carl is ready to be a full-fledged
No,
adult.
no, you cannot say yes to one of those and no to the other. You
I
cannot
think
say
you
he's
could.
you no, I think you can say he's ready to be a full adult, but he's not ready to be married. You cannot get married if you're not an adult. Like if you can't handle adult
Well,
shit, why are you getting
legally,
married? Well,
no, but
yeah,
I think you could want to be married without like wanting to adult. And I think that's what he's doing. He doesn't want a job. He likes
I
being
know, but like
jobless. He
that's
likes not having
concerning. Like
responsibility.
I can't believe she's not more concerned saying that out loud. Like
I
my
think she
partner who
is.
wants to marry me.
She's drinking her life away. She's fucking concerned. What are you talking about?
I know, this goes back to the whole like blindsided thing. I'm like, Lindsay, this is the
No, but
moment.
I think if he said something along the lines of like, I'm not going to get a job because I don't want to, she would be less blindsided by that. Because I think she has said, do you even want to marry me?
Yeah.
He's still fucking here. So she thinks like in his mind, she's thinking like he really wants to get married. And he does. He has said that. He wants the kids, he wants the life,
I
he
think
wants
he
the marriage.
says it, but I don't think he actually wants it.
Okay, how are we supposed to fucking know that?
I know, I'm just saying. Like, I think he feels like he should be doing this stuff, and
I mean, he was
he's not an
so
adult, so he
he
can't.
but no, it's separate. You can't think legally about this. You have to
No, no,
just
no.
think
I'm saying like
mindset.
you're mature enough. You can handle your life. Like not. I don't mean legally 18 and up. I just mean like he doesn't have his life in order. And so how can you be a husband if like you can't even like
You're
manage
thinking
your own life?
differently. You're thinking how we think, how we would be
Yeah,
like, we can't get married unless we
I
have
know.
our
I
lives
know.
figured out. People aren't fucking like that,
I
Meredith.
know. I know. I know
So,
you can
yeah.
do it. I think you shouldn't do it. Like
Okay,
I
yes,
think she
but
should be way more concerned saying this out of her mouth.
she is. She's drinking so much vodka.
And she's talking to
But
Sierra about it. Like I never thought 2 years ago that we would be having these
he
two in the kitchen.
he so badly wants the family, the marriage, the wife, the kid. He wants that way more than he wants to actually have responsibilities or anything. And I think he has shown that, right? He was like, I want you to marry me. He proposed. They do
Oh
People
my god.
magazine. He's showing up to her bridal shower like, this is great. But time comes to get a job and he's like, nah, I don't know anything.
No.
I don't even know how to ask questions. So like she's like, what the fuck? You want to get married to
Yeah.
me, but Lindsay's the type to be like, I want my life in order before I get married.
Yeah.
She's
Lindsay's had her life in
opposite.
order since
So
she was legally an adult.
so
Like she's
us,
yeah.
we think like Lindsay in the sense of like, why would I get married if I don't have a job or know what I'm doing or can provide for
Yeah.
anything? He's like, we could get married and live in a cardboard box. And she's like, no.
She's like, I don't want to live in a cardboard
It's
box.
different. They're just not on the same page.
No,
So
no.
Lindsay also says Carl wants a Stepford wife to be on mute and to cheer him on, and that's
Which
not
I was like,
Lindsay.
you're so right. Like that is
I
like
think,
essentially what he's asking for, and you are not that, and that is so okay.
yeah,
It's okay to like I'll say want it, but like you can't ask someone who is not that to be that.
my God, soft and tender are right next to Stepford wife. So like, yeah, but like if someone ever says to me, I need you to be more soft and tender, I'm gonna look at them and be like, you're a joke.
That's like
That's
fighting
not
words
me.
to me. If somebody, I saw this online, like somebody said, like the equivalent of saying soft is to a woman is like asking them to smile more.
Yeah, like I'm not fucking doing that.
Get no, no.
Who was it? In the after show I watched, Carl was like, I didn't realize that soft was like a trigger word for women. And he goes, I will never use that word again. I won't even use it in my vocab. But he was basically, because Kyle's like, I don't get it. And Carl was like, it's like if you were to say to someone, be a man, like to a man. I was like, kinda, yeah. Like if a man was crying and a girl or like a woman was like, be a
Be a
man and
man.
suck it up. Yeah, that's fucking rude,
Yeah,
But like, Kyle was like, I don't know, I feel like soft. And Carl's like, no, no, no. Women have told me now it's so offensive. And I'm like, it's not offensive in certain senses. But if
that's
you're
the thing.
asking me to be something I'm not,
That's it. If you're
that's when it's
describing me because you
offensive.
think I am like so tender and like
Yeah.
you really identify these qualities in me, like that's okay to like tell like women like God, you just have such a softness to you. It's
A soft
beautiful. Like
energy.
that's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay to be all these different words, but when you use it like you need to be more something that tells me
Because you're
what I
not.
am is not
Yeah.
enough. Like
Yeah, that's
I'm
rude.
hard. I have rough edges and like that's not okay. Like I need to be more soft. Like why
I
can't you
think
just accept me
too.
for who I am?
Yeah, the opposite. If someone came up to me and was like, you got rough edges and you're feisty and I love that about you, I'd be like,
I'd be
thank you
like,
so
yeah.
much. Yeah, but also if you went to a soft woman and was like, you need to toughen up, buttercup,
Yeah.
that's fucking
That's
rude.
rude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're just being rude. Like
Yeah.
it's not the word itself.
Yes. Yes. But I think
Jesus Christ.
more women get told to be soft than to
Well,
have
obviously,
rough
because we just
edges.
exist and men are mad. The white men
The
are
white
raging
man.
against us. So Lindsay is like, I'm going to try and talk to him again. And she grabs her giant cup
Which
of
I was like,
vodka.
okay, you're gonna come in with this energy that is not great.
She
Like, you're
didn't,
not gonna
though.
help.
I thought she did okay.
I know, but I was like, I got nervous. I'm
Oh,
like,
I was
no, don't talk to
nervous.
him. Don't talk
Oh,
to him.
after I saw her pour that Tito's in a cup, I went, oh no, Okay, so first she goes up to Carl and he's like, hey, I want you to meet some people. And she's like, hey, what's up? Can I
she,
steal you?
she was like, hi, great to meet you. Can I take him though?
Can I steal him? And they're like, yeah, we don't we don't want to be
Get out of
involved.
here.
So Kyle tells Amanda and Paige that he presented a deal to Carl to work for Loverboy, and he feels like Lindsay is shooting things down. And I was like,
Which,
it wasn't a deal, it was a proposal.
yeah, yeah.
You propose these
You have
ideas
not
to
given
him.
him a deal yet. Like,
No.
the deal's in writing.
And Lindsay's trying to make it a deal. She's not shooting it down yet, but she's not
I
going to let
know.
him be taken advantage
Which,
of.
that's Carl's responsibility to, like,
That's the
not
other
have
thing.
Kyle, like, slander his partner's name and act like she's the problem in this deal, quote unquote.
It's also Carl's responsibility to say, like, if Lindsay says, no, you're not doing that deal, I hate it. Carl's responsibility to say, actually, I really like the deal and I'm going to take it.
That's the
So
thing. I don't think it's
Lindsay's just
Lindsay's
the
right
big
to tell
bad
him.
guy.
Well, like, Lindsay doesn't have the authority to truly, like, decide things for Carl. Like, Carl is his own person, and I hate whenever, like, women are the scapegoat for, like, a
Yeah.
man's choices. Like, why is it her fault if she also wants Carl to fight for, like, what they deserve?
Yeah, it's just it. Lindsay's not the big bad guy, okay? She's just
No,
trying to
but
get it.
I blame Carl for, like, this Kyle mentality a little bit. Like, Kyle has his own thoughts
Yeah.
about Lindsay, obviously, but, like, Carl should, like, try to be making this deal, getting an actual deal in writing and all the
Yes.
details, but, like, he should be making there shouldn't be problems for his fiance and, like, I'm gonna call it his business partner, like Kyle, basically, like, in this situation. If there is, like, it's Carl's responsibility to make sure there's clear communication and so, like, everybody ends up
Yes.
happy because
Completely
they are
agree.
all friends. Like, nobody's going to spite someone. So the only reason there should be problems, or the only reason there are problems, is because of miscommunication.
Yes. 100%. So Paige says, like, listen, no one has messed with this relationship all summer, but they have a lot of issues and maybe they shouldn't get
I
married. And I was
Oh
like,
my God. I was like, no, yeah, yeah. We all know that. I mean, we all have the retroactive history of just
yeah, we
knowing
get
that they
it.
already break up. But, like, hearing Paige say it right now, I'm like, okay, it is that obvious. It's not just that we know it. Like, it is
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, it's terrible. So Lindsay and Carl talk. And Lindsay says, like, look, I don't want to communicate badly with you. And then like we do this party thing where we just don't talk at all and like avoid each
Hmm.
other. I don't want that. But she's struggling to in these conversations because she asks questions and wants to help him figure out what's best for him, but then he says it's an interrogation. And
Hmm.
Carl goes, just like your multiple questions, that's an interrogation.
No,
And he
it's
goes, I
not.
just want softness and tenderness. And Lindsay goes, I'm a business person. Like, I know how to do this stuff.
Yeah.
And Carl's like, listen, you don't need to talk about yourself when it's about me. I was like, fine. If I was Lindsay right there, I would have said fine and just left. And
I
been
would have been
like,
like, don't talk to me about this situation at all. Like,
we're
I'm
done.
out.
I
Do
don't.
not ask
I
me for
actually don't
support,
care.
anything. Yeah.
I don't care
I'm
if
done.
Kyle takes advantage of you. I don't give a fuck anymore. So Lindsay says, look, it's offensive to tell me to be softer.
Hmm.
And Carl was like, oh, like, sorry, but what about when you say offensive stuff to me? This is a Sandoval tactic. It's when
I
it's when you're
I
like,
thought
but
the
what about
exact
me?
same thing. I was like, she is telling you that you are hurting her, and your thing is to make it about you. Just told her she can't make it about her
Yeah.
when you were talking about other things. Why are you trying to make it about you now?
But well, he's trying to still make it about
He
what she's doing.
he wants to deflect.
It's such a manipulative tactic when someone's like, hey, you
You
hurt
hurt
my
my
feelings
feelings. Yeah.
now. And someone goes, remember 7 days ago when you hurt my feelings?
I'm like, Carl, you had so much time and opportunity to deal with what she did this summer, and she did do really bad things, but like, you can't wait until she's now upset to like use what she did as a defense for your own actions.
Yes,
Like,
you should
these are
have.
not connected. If they were
Yeah.
connected in the same fight, maybe. But like, this has nothing to do with what happened earlier this
Nope.
summer.
And Lindsay says, I'm not going to go tit for tat with you. Like, that's
I
not my
love that
intention
she
in
said
this
that.
conversation. And he go, and like, she starts to get up and be like, that's not my intention. And he goes, why do you want to walk away? Why not stay and communicate? And Lindsay goes, because it's turning into a fight. Like, that's not what I wanted. And Carl goes, because you can't understand that I have feelings too. And Lindsay goes, there's no feelings here. It's business. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And Carl tells Lindsay to put her sword down. And Lindsay goes, stop offending me. And Carl says, stop offending me. And then Lindsay goes, I'm just asking questions. And Carl wants hugs. That's all he wants. He just wants some hugs once in a while. He wants a mom, basically, is what he wants.
Yes, yes. Which, like,
Yeah.
it's okay to say, like, because it reminds me of, like, Paige and Craig a little bit.
Right.
Like, it's okay to want more affection from your partner and things like that. But what you are asking for is her to not question you about your, like, the financial, like, things
Yeah.
that will impact both of you. If you want more affection from her about hugs or kisses or anything like that, like, you should not be discussing that under the umbrella of an argument like this. That has nothing
Well,
to do with it.
that's what I was going to say is if, when Craig is like, hey, Paige, I want you to hug me more, it's not in the middle of a fight.
No, no.
It's like,
It's
hey, I
not a
made you
tactic in a
breakfast.
fight.
I
It's
love
actually what he
you.
wants. Yeah.
I wanted to talk to you about something I want. It's not
Yeah.
Lindsay saying, hey, I wanted to discuss further. These are my points. And he's like, well, you're offensive and you
You're
need to
not
put your
hugging
sword
me.
down. You should be soft and tender and you should hug me more. And
Mhm.
he's sitting there. He looks like such a joke. He's like flailing his arms. He's like, I just want hugs. I just want hugs and kisses. And I'm
I
like,
would have walked up
oh.
to him, hugged him, and said, "We're done."
Savage. Honestly, though, yeah. So let's say in the future, if we ever get in a fight with a man, one of us is in the bushes listening, so I could pop up and be like,
Hug him.
Meredith, ditch him, get rid
Hug
of
him
him,
and let's go.
hug him, and break up. So Lindsay calls him out and says, look, I'm never going to be a Stepford wife. You can't ask
Mhm.
me to be something who like that I'm not.
Not.
And
Yeah.
Carl says, but you could have those things. And Lindsay goes,
I
it's not a situation where I need to be tender and soft. Like she was very tender and soft when his brother died. This is family
Yes.
business, you know? She's
That's
just
a good
asking
point. Like,
questions.
she can really have those moments. I don't think it's her like number one quality, but like
It's not her
that's why
go-to
everybody's
setting.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, she's just like, this isn't
Let
the
her be. I
situation.
feel like she has really grown. Like, seeing her interact and like manage this stuff, and like, I
Communicate.
think
Yeah.
also the fallout with Danielle like helped, I feel like, take down some of her like hard shell, like her exterior where she like has these walls up and she's like she can be argumentative and stuff like that. And so I think
Yeah.
she's learning how to just like have fun and be, instead of just like always needing to be on the offensive of things. But that's not going to
Yes.
like turn her into a completely different human just because she's like learning to not be so harsh. She's not going to immediately just be soft. She's just learning how to
Yeah.
soften her edges a little bit, but she's still going
Which
to be herself.
she's been great. She's like, I don't want
Yes.
this to be a fight. I don't want us
Like,
to
let me
get
walk
there.
away. Let's not actually have an
He
argument.
keeps kind of attacking her and she's like, could you stop? My God. She's never the one for like, if he said like, you're being offensive, she wouldn't say it back. She's the one to say it first. She's the one to present these
Mhm.
feelings. So whatever. Lindsay's basically like, your life affects me. So
Yeah.
I'm going to ask questions. And Carl goes, I want you to ask questions. And she goes, this
You
is a
don't.
lot. This is a
Yeah.
lot. Like, what the fuck?
You don't, because if I ask multiple questions in a row, then that is interrogating you.
He should have said, I want you to ask a question
That, and then hug me.
and then hug me. No matter what the answer is, hug
This is what
me.
I need from you. I need to go, yay! You can ask one question and then you have to hug me, and then we can part
Celebratory
ways.
music plays, confetti. You're so
Jesse singing in the
happy.
background about how incredible
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah, amazing. Oh my God,
I
this
can't,
man.
I'm nervous for this reunion because Andy sucks at reunions lately, and I need Andy to like dig into these type of details. Like, why would you
I
ever date Lindsay if someone you want is to hug you and say yay?
I'm I think there's some hope because the reunion happened after Carl started to become a little shitty, right? So we get
Yeah,
an idea. My concern is Andy tends to know who the show needs to continue going and side with
yeah.
that person. And for me in this case, that would maybe be Kyle, and Kyle has Carl's back. So, like, is that going to affect it?
I don't know. Also,
But
like,
they see how it's going. Like,
I know. It's wild to me, like, because I think Lindsay mentioned this in the episode too, is like, if you want me to be the laid back, just say yes wife, then you have to financially support that too. Like,
yeah,
you're doing nothing to just have me as like a stay at home mom who will like shut up about the finances.
yeah. Also,
Like, I
someone,
can't do that.
listen, the tweets haven't been that good. So I really haven't been
Yeah.
screenshotting them. I like the funny ones. These are all like
Yeah.
very angry towards these men, which is fine
Feels
too.
too
But
too close to home.
we already do that in the podcast. So, but there was one where it was like, you know what's funny is that Lindsay, we have seen her have like a successful PR firm. She now is like owning a
Hmm.
house. She's always been really good at making brand deals and like keeping herself afloat and stuff like that. They go, we've seen Carl get fired or laid off like 3 times and struggle to
Yeah.
find jobs. Maybe he should ask Lindsay for some fucking help. Like it was like that. Or and then it was like his only like really successful job was for a company his friend owned. So
Yeah. Yeah.
which I was like, yeah, that's not bad, okay? Life deals us different hands, but maybe you should fucking ask Lindsay what you should do because she
I was
might
about to say, but then
know.
like that kind of gives Lindsay more right. Like she is superior in the business industry. Like she
Yeah.
said, like she had a fucking company. Like she can handle like these negotiations and like when it's her future on the line, like she wants her input because she knows she's good at it. If she was
Yeah.
bad at it, then I agree. Don't You shouldn't take any like shit from her if she sucked at it, but she's good.
She's good at it. So what's the issue? Yeah. So we have one episode left, and next time on the season finale, will
Oh God.
Sierra figure it out with Wes?
Oh.
Carl didn't sign up for Lindsay being Lindsay in his relationship. And then it's like, will they get married? Dot, dot, dot. Like, no, but
Obviously
let's
not.
just see the breakdown of it, I guess. Great. So we have one comment from this episode. So I'm going to read that really quick.
Let's do it.
Tonette says, I don't think Lindsay was blindsided. If you take the engagement and proposal and wedding out of the equation, Lindsay would not be surprised that her significant other wanted to end things after the summer we've seen. You cannot convince me this chick was taken off guard. I can, Tonette. Listen up.
I'm just mad she's not in that conversation when he's saying, I don't want to do this. Her being like, yeah, fuck no, I don't want to do this. Like, you're a piece of shit. Like, I don't want to be in a relationship with you either. Like, that's what I want from her now after seeing like
Yes.
this episode.
But also, when someone breaks up with you, even if you kind of saw
I
it coming, you're
know.
still like, I'm shocked.
I'm
Which is,
destroyed. Yeah.
I think is where she was too. I don't think she was crying because she kind of expected it, but I think she was blindsided in the sense of like, all summer we've been doing this shit, and you've always forgiven me, and we've moved on, and
I think if there was
now,
no wedding, I don't think she would use the words blindsided. I think she would just be like, this is ridiculous. I
yeah.
hate him, whatever. But like knowing that you have a wedding in 2 months, that you put your heart and soul into planning, like it is so much bigger than just ending a relationship.
Also, the cameras show up in your apartment, and you're like, I'm blindsided that this.
Honestly, maybe I'm blindsided that he just did this to me on camera. Like, and this is all happening right now.
Maybe it's the whole, yeah, maybe it's the whole aspect of it. Like,
It's the
we could have
production of it all
canceled this
too.
wedding a while ago, and you're doing
Hmm.
it now before we have 2 months when we paid for literally everything, when people can't get their deposits back. Maybe it's
Oh,
on camera. Maybe it's because I've tried to communicate with you and you've always just
I've
said it's
asked
fine and ignored
you.
me.
Yeah.
Like, I was just at the movies last night, and then I came here because she said she
Yeah,
was
it's
at
like,
the movies, got a text, and was like, we're filming tomorrow.
oh my God.
Blindsided.
That's the thing is it's like why now? Like why didn't he break up with her a week
Yeah,
ago?
like what the
Yeah.
fuck? So I'm with Lindsay
I
on this.
can't
I am
I
blindsided. I can't wait for
I
Carl to
can't
say
wait
the
to watch it.
comment. I thought she would react differently because the way Lindsay is seen to react, that is the best it could go. She gets up and walks away calmly.
I again need to like I we won't know this till we watch it is does he say like I want to take a pause and figure out us, or does he actually say like, I don't want to be in a relationship with you anymore, I don't want this wedding? Like, because I think he's going to be very unclear, and Lindsay's going to say like, we're done, like we're not doing a
Yeah.
pause, like figuring this out, postponing the wedding. It's like either we're getting married in November or nothing at all.
I just think I think Carl expected Lindsay to freak the fuck out and like kill him basically. And so he's
Yeah.
sad that he didn't get that reaction on camera. Like he wanted the female rage that everyone attacks women for.
Yeah.
But instead Lindsay goes, I'm going to call my dad.
Because if Lindsay reacted similar to how like her and Sierra fought, or like how Danielle and Sierra, or Danielle
Yeah,
and
it would be like this is
Lindsay
just fucking
fought,
Lindsay. Yeah.
we would be like, it would overshadow the shitty thing Carl did, so he
Yeah.
could kind of get away with murder a little bit. If like
Yeah.
she overreacted, then people would just like crucify her for that, and he could just slip into the darkness.
Yeah. So that's I'm excited to see if that's what he kind of meant.
I
So
need to see how it goes down, and I can't wait, and it's
these
finally
white
here.
men will not win. Not if we have something to say about it.
No.
Okay, Tonette's last comment says the way Carl says it's a fucking lot. Oh my god, it was fucking evil. I can't unsee his face, eyes, and damn, comparable to Lucifer. Oh my god. And if that's the face, tone, eyes, and body language Lindsay was talking about at the beginning of the season, and I thought he was thought he was
Ooh.
using, I have to say in that moment I thought the same thing too.
I mean, he was a little like unhinged. Like whenever he said it's a fucking lot, I was like, "You're a fucking lot. Are you kidding me right now?"
Meredith again is behind Lindsay just going, you're a fucking lot,
I'm
bitch.
like, I would have Lindsay. I needed activated Lindsay actually by the end of that conversation. Like, I'm proud of her. She's grown a lot, but like, I wanted her to destroy him.
But that's the thing. If she destroys him, she's the crazy one.
Okay, I need her to destroy him a little bit at the reunion though. Like, it's rightfully deserved, and I think everybody would stand behind her at
Yes.
this point.
I want Paige just because Paige is right next to Lindsay,
I
and
just
I was
got
wondering
chills.
why. I think it's because Paige is
Because they're
very much Team Lindsay and is like, because she
yes.
said at BravoCon, she's like, I stand with my girls. So
I yeah, I think this has united them, and I mean, listen, hey, Paige got burned by Carl too. Like he literally did fucking nothing. Couldn't even ask her out on a date. So I don't think like Paige has like the best opinion of Carl by any means. I think he's just there, and now it's like, hey, we're gonna call out shitty men. Paige loves doing that.
yep, yep. So here we go. Okay, great. So that is the episode.
Sigh of
Be sure
relief.
to do on the things. We can't wait for the finale next week. And yeah, great.
Thanks for joining. Bye.